You're watching ABC7 News at 6.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Thanks for joining us. Topping our news this hour, Florida Governor Rick Scott on the Suncoast today to sign new legislation into law that will combat the state's opioid epidemic.
ABC7's Dwayne Lindo is live in Manatee County tonight, one of the hardest hit areas in the state, with more on what this bill could mean for Florida's medical industry. Dwayne?
Well, Scott and Jacqueline, it was pretty much all of Suncoast law enforcement represented at this morning's bill signing. We had Sheriff Knight down in Sarasota come up here, also the sheriff from Manatee County, Sheriff Wells, in an effort in an area that saw more fentanyl deaths than anywhere else in the state.
Governor Rick Scott receiving a welcoming applause Monday morning, signing what he calls a top priority bill going through this year's session. Manatee County was hit hard in 2016 with a record number of fentanyl deaths, stressing this is an epidemic that needs to be addressed immediately.
We secured major funding and legislation to meet this goal.
In all, the bill directs $53.5 million in grants to treatment programs. Manatee County Sheriff Rick Wells says in the past 9 months, he's seen a significant decrease of opioid addictions. In the first 2 months of 2018, there have been 47 overdoses. This time last year, there were 172 overdoses. The sheriff's office attributes the drop to the arrests of those selling these drugs and deputies working with addicts to make sure they get the help they need. But there's still a lot more that has to be done.
We need funding available for long-term treatment because just a 12-step program is just not going to work.
It will also update Florida's prescription database to facilitate tracking each patient's medication history in the state and nationally. Most initial prescriptions would have a limit of 3 days, but doctors could prescribe up to 7 days in extreme cases.
The issue that we deal with today with heroin and fentanyl, 80+% of those people started because of a legal prescription that they were given after a minor medical procedure.
Sheriff Wells also pointing to a no-tolerance policy when it comes to dealers.
When we arrest one, we got to make sure that we keep the next one out of our community. So on the enforcement side, it's about making sure that we don't have a new supplier coming into Manatee County.
Now, we tried to reach out to Centerstone of Florida, our local hospital specializing in mental health and addiction. No one was available for comment, but they will no doubt receive the much needed help when it comes to fighting these addictions. Reporting live in Manatee County, Dwayne Lindo, your Suncoast News.
All right, Dwayne, thanks so much.
Well, certainly a beautiful evening here on the Suncoast. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
After a foggy start earlier today, skies cleared out and allowed temperatures to warm to 80 degrees above average. It's 76 right now. We have a few clouds around, very warm, very muggy too. The humidity at 85%, dew point way up there at 71. That's summer-like dew point. Winds out of the south-southwest at 14. The pressure, 29.83 inches, has been lowering today as a result of this energy that you see right here to the north of us. All this is going to stay to our north. There is a slight chance for an isolated, mainly inland shower this evening, but most areas are going to stay dry here. Boy, it's been some rough going with that particular piece of energy. We're going to have another one move through our area tomorrow, late afternoon and evening. Right now, some tough driving conditions north of Gainesville, near Ocala, and stretching off toward north of Orlando. Nothing going on as far as rotation now, but there were a few cells that were showing signs of some rotation there, indicating there's a little bit more twist in the atmosphere. We're going to wait for the cold front to move through here and bring with it the potential for severe weather our way beginning later on tomorrow. We'll talk more about that coming up in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. New details on a deadly car crash in Lakewood Ranch this afternoon. This all happened along Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and Endeavor Drive just after 12:30. Troopers say the driver of a Ford Escape was heading north in the southbound through lane and then collided head-on with a Hyundai. The passenger in that Hyundai, a 98-year-old woman named Thelma Moore, was killed. The driver of the Escape was taken to Sarasota Memorial Hospital with serious injuries.
A bus driver and a passenger are recovering after a car rear-ended a scat bus earlier today. That crash happened just after 10:30 this morning at Beneva and Peaks Road. Police say the car rear-ended the scat bus as passengers were getting off at a bus stop. The passengers in the car were not injured, but the bus driver and a passenger were taken to the hospital with minor injuries.
City of Venice fire officials are investigating 3 different fires in the same general area. Those fires were spread out over 2 weeks and in 3 parks. The first at Service Club Park, part of a new boardwalk, was destroyed there. The second was on a nearby boardwalk at South Brohard Park. And then last Thursday, firefighters responding to a brush fire at Casperson Beach Park. All of the fires raising the eyebrows of fire officials who worry they may be connected, but they may not be arson.
No, not at this time, but again, public safety is doing their due diligence into investigating the origin of the fires.
If you have any information on the fires, you're asked to contact the Venice Police Department.
A local Catholic school had to be evacuated today because of a fire. St. Martha's Catholic School on Fruitville was evacuated mid-school day because of a small fire on the roof. According to Sarasota County Fire Department, it all started because one of the construction workers accidentally caught a piece of roofing material on fire with a blowtorch.
The extent of the damage is small. Right where they were working on the roof, they caught that material on fire. They were able to put that fire out with an extinguisher they had readily available.
The fire was put out before Sarasota County Fire Department arrived, and the students went back to class shortly after. Luckily, nobody was injured in that fire.
Sarasota and Manatee County voters will take to the polls tomorrow to decide whether or not they're willing to pay more for their students' educations. Both school districts are asking for a voluntary $1 million property tax that would generate $33 million for Manatee County schools and $56.5 million for Sarasota County schools. For property owners, this means for every $1,000 your property is worth, you'd pay an extra $1 a year in taxes. I don't think this is for this story, but for example, if you own a home valued at $225,000, you'd pay an extra $200 a year or $17 a month if the tax is approved. Sarasota County has had the tax in place since 2002, so this is just an extension. In Manatee County, the district is proposing the tax for the first time. If approved, money will go toward an extra 30 minutes of instruction a day, along with salary increases for teachers and bus drivers.
With the approval of this tax, there can be no longer the argument by the administration, or the board for that matter, that we cannot do better because we don't have enough money.
The polls will be open tomorrow from 7 until 7. Still to come in your Suncoast News, if you've been in Lakewood Ranch recently, you probably noticed a lot of construction. We'll have word from the people that it's affecting the most, those who live there.
And I'm Rick Adams, live at the Sarasota Auditorium, where they'll be talking about a lot of important issues tonight. Details coming up.
All right, crew, let's get started. All right.
Don't ignore the law. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
My name is Stefan Campagna. We're Ben Gates and Dramus, and here is your law tip of the week. If you've been injured in a car accident, the state of Florida only gives you a specific amount of time to file a claim. So act now, give us a call.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Everything all right?
Actually, you know how Tom had knee surgery?
Sure.
We found out Brad's been taking his painkillers. And it turns out he's been doing it for a while.
Most people don't know what to say about drugs, but we do. Visit us at drugfree.org.
Selfless service is the guiding principle of every Army National Guard soldier. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. To be an Army National Guard soldier is to serve something greater than yourself. Learn more at nationalguard.com.
Happening now, a highly anticipated meeting is just minutes away from getting started in downtown Sarasota.
Hundreds of people will be on hand to hear Sarasota County commissioners and school board members address issues such as affordable housing and education. ABC7's Rick Adams joins us live from the Sarasota Municipal Auditorium with more details. Good evening, Rick.
Yeah, good evening, Jacqueline and Scott. They are expecting around 1,100 people here tonight, a big crowd. I'm joined by one of the organizers of this event. It's Reverend Carla McCook. And Reverend, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
And let's start off by just asking you what exactly is going on here tonight.
Tonight, we are Sarasota United for Responsibility and Equity. So we are gathering at our Nehemiah Action. This is a way for us to invite our county commissioners and our school superintendent and some of the school board to be with action with us about creating positive social just change.
And what type of issues are we talking about? What will be discussed?
One of the first things we will be discussing is restorative justice program in our schools. So we'll be talking to School Superintendent Bowden and a couple of the school board members will be here tonight. So we'll be talking with them about that. And then with our county commissioners, we'll be asking questions about working together for affordable housing in our community.
Yeah, certainly a very important issue. Both of those issues are very important. And finally, why is a night like tonight so important?
Tonight is so important because this is a way for us, not just members of our 20 diverse congregations that are gathered here tonight, but other friends and people of the community coming together with us to tell our civic leaders that these are important issues in our community, and we want to work with you in order to come up with solutions to make the changes. And we know these are challenging issues, but together we can make the difference.
Okay, Reverend, we do appreciate your few moments. I know you have a busy night ahead of you, and thanks for sharing a few moments.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, that is Reverend Carla McCook. Again, the event gets underway very shortly at 6:30, so you still have a little time to get out of here if you'd like. And we'll have a lot more on this coming up tonight at 11 o'clock. Reporting live from downtown Sarasota, I'm Rick Adams. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Rick. A drive-through Lakewood Ranch shows a lot of new developments in the works. One coming in 2019, a $50 million senior housing community. It will be located on the corner of University Parkway and Lorraine Road. And across the street, a new Publix is under construction. Developments like these are what helped Lakewood Ranch get a new title, just named the third best-selling master-planned community in the country by real estate experts. We spoke with a local real estate agent who says the only problem is the community development district fees that come with living in Lakewood Ranch.
The way that they're planning this development is great, but I think the one thing that is the downfall, if there is one, is that when you have a lot of buyers that are still within a $500,000 price point, they will look elsewhere because they don't want to pay the CDD fees. And they ask when they're coming from other states, what is this and why is this?
There are 5 community development districts in Lakewood Ranch.
Happening in Florida, the Constitution Revision Commission is narrowing down a list of proposed constitutional amendments that could go on the November ballot. One would require anyone purchasing a firearm to be 21 years old, while requiring at least a 3-day waiting period after a gun purchase to carry out a comprehensive background check. Other proposals include plans to increase the mandatory retirement age for judges, ban greyhound racing in the state, and ban vaping in workplaces. One commissioner is worried that putting too many of these proposals on the ballot will be confusing to voters.
When we look at our most sacred, sacrosanct document,
what can be accomplished there and there alone, and what could be accomplished elsewhere by legislative enactment and statute. The difference for others.
Proposals approved this week will go to the Style and Drafting Committee, which will play a key role in refining them and creating ballot titles. Plans making it beyond that committee will return to the full commission, where they must receive at least 22 votes from the 37-member group to be placed on the November ballot.
New developments in the bridge collapse that happened in South Florida last Thursday. Governor Rick Scott directing the Florida Department of Transportation to stop making payments for that bridge. The payments are to stop until investigations by the National Transportation Safety Board are complete. Almost $14 million in payments were still scheduled to be made toward the building of that bridge. But Scott says that, quote, before another dollar is spent on the bridge, we must know exactly what happened. And a new bill on Governor Rick Scott's desk could help law enforcement identify people with disabilities. The bill could help provide information to police about whether drivers are deaf before officers approach cars during traffic stops. Florida drivers could voluntarily identify themselves as hearing impaired when they register cars. It did pass unanimously in the House and the Senate and will now be up to Governor Rick Scott to sign into law.
When we come back, a Suncoast congressman is being recognized by national law enforcement. We'll have that story.
And Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will have a look at your first alert weather forecast.
Car experts and customers agree there's a lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 most trusted brand, best overall brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Forester is an IIHS top safety pick for 12 years running. Now, lease the most award-winning small SUV, a new Subaru Forester, for just $219 a month. Or get 0% financing with 0 down during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership, both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
Invest in Kids is a $7.5 million project to build a new Boys and Girls Club in South Manatee County. I'm Caleb Grimes, and I was a club kid. It's where I learned important life lessons, leadership, integrity, responsibility, and baseball. Thousands of kids attend the Boys and Girls Clubs, and after years of use, their club is slowly falling apart. Help us invest in kids. Make your donation today.
This is your brain. This is drugs. This is your brain on drugs. Any questions?
Yeah, I have questions.
Prescription drugs aren't as bad as street drugs, right?
Weed's legal, isn't it?
Drinking is worse than smoking weed.
Isn't it? Why
is heroin so addictive?
Molly just makes you feel happy.
I have questions.
Mom?
Dad, did you ever try drugs?
They're going to ask. Be ready. Go to DrugFree.org. A message from Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Here's today's Job of the Day. ABC7 is seeking a digital content manager to join our newsroom leadership team. CMS experience required. Visit mysuncoast.com/job of the day to apply.
All right, we were just talking March Madness.
Oh,
He's still
man.
going. Yeah, Gators and...
Gosh, that was a
Your Tar
rough
Heels are
weekend. A
gone.
lot of people's brackets just done for.
Can you imagine being a Virginia and having them and following them and getting beat by 60.
Well, now we're cheering for your team, Bob.
That was an incredible story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the best story so far to come out of that. I wish we would have won yesterday. Beat Kansas State, our rivals. But anyway, we have a first alert weather day tomorrow. That means that we're going to see some disruptive weather move in. It's going to have an impact on you, and that means you need to stay close and stay tuned to what's happening with the weather. The best way to do that is right through our weather app. Obviously, download that. Just go to your store, search First Alert Weather, WWSB. Well, here's what's going on. We have still some birds up there in our nest at ABC7. They haven't produced an egg yet, but still having fun, I understand. Sarah and Soda, that should be Sarah and Soda. Laura Lettner sending that one in, getting that from our mysuncoast.com webpage. You can, too, watch that nest and check it out occasionally with our live camera on that. That way, is a webcam showing pretty calm conditions out there now, but tomorrow it's going to be a different story. Small craft advisories will be issued for our area, coastal waters, and we may even have some high surf advisories along with some rip current advisories for Suncoast waters as a result of the winds really switching around to the northwest. Well, here's a look now at the watches and warnings. Yes, another winter storm advisory in effect for southern Ohio into eastern Kentucky, West Virginia. That's a winter storm watch all the way up into New Jersey and New York. Even up there near New York, they have the possibility of some coastal flooding through all the way down into Delaware and Virginia. Not the coast, I should say, of Delaware and New Jersey. Now, this is a tornado watch. You can see that covers much of central Tennessee through northern Alabama and eastern portions of Mississippi tonight. That tornado watch in effect until midnight tonight. There are some tornado warnings currently taking place into western portions and northwestern portions of Alabama tonight as these storms are generating Doppler-indicated tornadoes. We're not going to see any of that here tonight, but there's a chance, an outside chance, we may see a couple of twisters tomorrow spin up in the Gulf and move on shore. We do have some flood advisories in effect for I-75 all the way up to Lake City due to the heavy rain. So here's what the weather headlines read. Severe storms are possible Tuesday, mainly late afternoon and evening. On top of that, look for a very windy day beginning tomorrow evening and continuing on into Wednesday. And then cooler weather expected and anticipated right through Friday. So the tough going for some Suncoast residents. 76 right now. We have a few clouds around. The dew point temperatures at 71. The pressure 29.83 inches. So that's continuing to get a little lower as a result of the storm system developing. The high today was warm, 80 degrees. 77 is our normal high. Well, here's the futurecast showing the storms tonight staying to our north. There'll be one or two spotty showers possible tomorrow morning and into the afternoon. This model depicting that activity. But then after, say, 4 or 5 o'clock, that line starts to move through and intensifies depending upon how much sunshine we get here as it pushes off to the south and southeast. Now, we are looking at much colder air moving in out of the northwest behind this front, which will cool us off. Severe storms are possible. We have that in play, a slight chance for that, and also tornadoes. We will see some moderate to heavy rainfall in some isolated areas. Again, beginning tomorrow late afternoon and evening, those winds will be picking up throughout the day. So the beach and boating forecast looks like this. Seas running 3 to 5 feet with choppy conditions out there and advisories being issued later on in the afternoon and evening. So there you have it. Temperatures cooling down after that into the mid to upper 60s and then warming up quickly. By the weekend, we're back into the mid to upper 70s with lots of sunshine. We'll be right back after this.
This week, after more turmoil and turnover, is President Trump's inner circle safe for now? Plus, the major winter storm moving across the country. Is a fourth nor'easter on the way? World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.
Motor Trend said the new Alfa Romeo Giulia is hands down the best sports sedan you can buy today. And named it the 2018 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
If you're looking for the perfect trip that allows you to spend quality time with the family, then discover the great outdoors on an Alabama Black Belt adventure. Create unforgettable memories while hunting, canoeing, camping, and more. Or challenge yourself on Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, now celebrating 25 years. And while you're here, enjoy a Deep South dining experience. Book your adventure in one of our members' lodges or stay at the Renaissance Montgomery Hotel and Spa. Start planning an Alabama Black Belt adventure today.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at nationalguard.com.
When evaluating the Alfa Romeo Stelvio, Car and Driver magazine said every crossover should be this good to drive. We agree. Rediscover your passion for driving at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Suncoast Congressman Vern Buchanan is being recognized by a national law enforcement organization, the National Association of Police Organizations, honoring Buchanan for his support of the Thin Blue Line Act, which would make the killing or persecution of law enforcement an aggravating factor in death penalty determinations in federal court. And of course, we're going to be watching the weather tomorrow, especially right around this time.
Yeah,
tomorrow,
I think that's the timing of it. It's going to be in the late afternoon, evening. Now, there's a chance we'll see a few showers prior to that with the prefrontal trough, too. And then it always depends on that prefrontal trough, how active it can be. So keep an eye on the weather. Again, download the weather programming. It's a nice weather app to have. It's free, too, and it's very informative. It keeps you abreast of what's going on.
Some great notifications.
World News Tonight with David Muir is next.
We'll see you again at 11. Have a wonderful night.